If you have a nice new Xbox Series X or Series S console, and you also have an old Xbox One or a One S or a One X, and you want to know if you can transfer stuff from your old one to your new one without having to download it again, then I'm going to explain a few different options that you've got. So obviously, first option is you may not want the stuff that's on your old console, and you can just download stuff fresh, direct from the internet onto your new console. But obviously that could take a while. Some of these new games like Warzone, Modern Warfare, stuff like that is absolutely huge, and with all the updates and things coming out for them, they could take a long time to install the whole thing again. So ideally you want to be able to transfer it from your old console to your new one. Now this also works if you've got multiple consoles in your house. So if you've got a couple of Series X's, what you can do is download games onto one console and then transfer them from that one onto the other one, so you haven't got to download the whole game twice, which will save you a lot of time and free up your internet connection, because it could take a long time. Like to download Warzone onto two consoles could take a long time, so you can just download it onto one and then transfer it across. So there's a couple of different options, but the first and probably the easiest one is to do a network transfer. Now if you go into My Games and Apps, go down to Manage and then Network Transfer. Now you need to make sure this option of Allow Network Transfer is ticked on all the consoles that you want to transfer stuff around between. And then, as you can see here, you will see your other console appear on the network. So obviously your other console has to be connected, has to be powered on and connected to the Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection on the same network, the same local network as the one that you're transferring to, so that you can see it there and it will automatically appear. So if you select the other console, you then get this list up of all the transferable games and apps that are available on the old console that you can transfer to your new one. Now as you can see down the bottom right hand corner, it does say that some games and apps need to be installed directly rather than transferred, and we are not showing those. So you may think that there's stuff missing off this list that you want to transfer across. If it doesn't appear on this list, then you are not able to transfer it across, and you will have to manually download it onto your new console. So there's certain stuff, certain apps that will need to be downloaded fresh. Now obviously an example of this is if you look at my games on here, I have Watch Dogs Legion installed. Now this version of Watch Dogs Legion is the proper next gen version for the Series X and the Series S. So this is not available on the Xbox One, this next gen version. So you can't transfer this from the Xbox One to the Series X, because it is specially made for the Series X. So you're going to have to download games like this fresh from the Microsoft Store. Okay, so we'll go across, we'll go back to Network Transfer. Okay, so you can select one of these games, you can select multiple of these, you can select them all if you want, and then you go across to Copy Selected, and it will ask you to confirm and show you if you've got enough space, and you can do copy, and then that goes into your normal queue, which is like when you're downloading off the internet. But this is now actually copying across. It shows you there local network transfer, and then it shows you in the top right of that little box, this is the speed that you're getting connecting from your other console to your Series X, and it's transferring it across. So obviously what you can do is queue up all of your games and leave them going. Now one thing that I would suggest is if you go to your power options within settings, power mode and startup, by default I think this turn off after 1 hour of inactivity is selected. So I'm not 100% sure what happens if the other Xbox goes to sleep while this transfer is happening. Then it may pause the transfer while the other one is off. So just to make sure, I would go in here and I would set this to do not turn off automatically on the other console, so that, like I say, if you've got a lot of games to transfer, they could take a while, and you may want to leave it going overnight. So you can tell it to not turn off, so that it'll carry on copying and the consoles won't shut down on their own. Now you probably already know if you logged onto your console, but just in case, when you log into your new console with your Xbox One or your Xbox account, all of your achievements and everything else, and even your saved games, are actually stored in Xbox Live and associated to your account. So you don't need to worry about transferring your profile across from your old Xbox to your new one, because all of the important stuff like your achievements and your saved games will all be downloaded automatically from Xbox Live. So all you've got to do is remember your username or email address and password for your existing Xbox account on your old console. And when you get your new console, you just log in with those details and it will know who you are and it will download everything for you onto your new console. And the first time that you load up one of your old games, you should see it actually flash up and say syncing data, I think it will say, and that is it actually downloading your save games and any information from Xbox Live onto your console so you can carry on where you left off. So another option that you've got is if you're finding that your connection is too slow and it's taking a long time to copy stuff across, if you have a USB hard drive, then you can actually format this by plugging it into your Xbox, and it will come up with a prompt like this. So it gives you the option, if you want to use it for media, which is for music, videos and pictures, then you can leave it as it is and you can just put your music and videos and pictures onto it and transfer them onto your new console. If you want to actually be able to store your games on there and transfer your games from your old console to your new one, or you can also use it as a way of storing games on your new console. So your older games that are not specially made for the Series X can actually be installed and run from an external USB hard drive. The newer types of games like Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed and things like that are specially made for this generation, they have to be installed on the internal hard drive of the console and can't run on a USB hard drive, but you can store them on the USB hard drive if you're running out of space, and you have to transfer them back across to be able to actually play them. So what we can do here is do format a storage device, give it a name if you want to change the name, and it will ask you where you want to store things by default. So at the moment the default is obviously on the internal hard drive, which I'm going to leave that alone and let it do that, or you can tell it to install new things on this one. And once it's formatted, you won't be able to plug it into anything else like your computer or whatever, because it will only be usable on the Xbox while it's formatted in this special way to work with the Xbox. So now that that's formatted, you'll see it pop up as another option within your storage devices, and you'll get the option to move or copy stuff across. So within storage devices, you should see your internal SSD drive, and you'll also see your external drive. Now this will be the same on your old console as well. It will show the internal drive and the external. So to move stuff across, you go to your internal drive, move or copy. You can find a game like Death Squared, select that, and you can copy it. Right? So this will copy this across from your internal drive to your external. And as you can see, that is a lot faster than transferring it across the Wi-Fi. So now that's finished, that's copied across onto your hard drive. So you would then go to your new console and plug your hard drive in, and it will show up here in the same way. So on your new console, you go to your external drive, move or copy, and you'll see the games that are on there available. So you select the ones that you want, copy selected, and it'll say you're about to copy one from Samsung, which is my external drive, to your internal. Do copy. And again, as you can see, that is much quicker than copying it across the network. So if you do have a big enough external USB hard drive, then that is a much faster way of transferring stuff across between your consoles.